Hi, my name is John Reznikoff, and I'm the president of University Archives, and I'm an autograph authenticator. And today we're going to talk about collecting authentic George Patton letters, as well as memorabilia. I'm not the only one who loves George Patton. Old Blood and Guts is a favorite of people who collect military, World War II, or just really colorful figures in our history, and he was among the most colorful. Perhaps his most important accomplishment was his successes at the Battle of the Bulge. As an agent for the family of Patton for over 25 years, I probably handled more of his material than anybody. And I've had some really interesting things come through my hands, and I still have some to show you in this particular video. Okay, the first item I want to show you is a really early Patton item. What we have here is his report card signed by the principal. You gotta love a big tough guy who writes to his family and says, "Dear Mama." It's a really interesting handwritten letter, and this would be almost impossible to forge. It's on the original stationery. Here's an example of a letter written to his mother during World War I, and this one, in probably a melancholy mood, he decided to sign it only with his first name, George. And it's really unusual to find that. And here's a letter that he wrote to his father talking about his exploits during World War I. This one has a particularly interesting quote. "I wish all the men could drive as well as the ones we had in the platoon this morning. We would certainly kill Germans." Here's an example of an envelope that was signed by Patton, right here, as Captain Cavalry. And he acted as the censor to his own mail. So typical letters from this period of Patton's can sell for $3,000 or more, depending on the content. Even when they're handwritten, that's about the range that they go for. Here's an example of a letter where Patton talks about him getting fired, and this letter was written during the height of World War II in 1943. This particular item was probably clipped from an envelope, and it's signed as Lieutenant General. But beware, when there's not a full envelope, that it wouldn't be that hard to forge this. Patton was a voracious reader and had a significant library, most of which has been dispersed over the years. If you could find a signed book, they could go for upwards of $10,000, depending on the subject matter. In this particular book, The March to the Sea, it's all about General Sherman, William T. Sherman. And The March to the Sea is the Atlantic Campaign. This book is signed on the cover. It's signed on the spine, and it's also signed 1926 on the first blank flyleaf. Here's an interesting book from Patton's library, The Mesopotamian Campaign. He signed his name on the inside. And this particular book is really exciting because not only does it have maps that collectors really love, but we know that Patton read this very carefully because it has his notes in the margin. Books like these, when they have handwritten emendations and corrections and notes on the inside, can sell for $10,000 or $15,000, and they're very desirable. The other thing you could collect having to do with Patton is just things that involve his life. Here's an example of a trophy he won in 1934 on his horse Hukapu, and that was a Hawaiian-bred horse that he loved. And not to leave Mrs. Patton out, here's a trophy that she won in 1927, Beatrice Eyre Patton. One has to be very careful with printed documents And that's what this is. Looks like it's signed authentically, but it isn't. So in conclusion, there's not a lot of fakes out there of Patton, but his signature is kind of simple. I'd be extra careful with signed photos. Documents and letters would be preferred, and signed books are wonderful as well. And there's plenty of memorabilia out there that, if you look hard enough, you'll find something really great. So enjoy collecting, and be careful, and have fun.